Good morning, Manitoba. I'm Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour and every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Thanks for tuning in. I'm very excited about Peak of the Market's TV commercial auditions that are happening today from 9:30 to 6 at Center Court of Polo Park Shopping Center right next door. The auditions are open to children 6 to 12 years old, and every child will audition with me, and they will receive a copy of their screen test. Then in June, volunteer media judges will view all the audition tapes, and the top 12 children's auditions will be posted on Facebook. During the month of July, the public gets to like their favorite auditions. The 4 children with the most likes will be in Peak of the Market's TV commercials this summer. And those 4 children will each receive $300 for their family and $300 for the charity of their choice. There's still time to go to peakmarket.com to get the complete details, including the script, and we'll be there shortly after the show until 6 o'clock today at Polo Park Shopping Center. My guest this morning is Carole Vivier, CEO of Manitoba Film and Music and the Provincial Film Commissioner. Good morning.
Good morning, Larry. Thank you for having me on.
So isn't this appropriate that, we're going to be doing filming here shortly?
Yes.
And you're like the film commissioner.
There you go.
I don't know what a film commissioner does, but thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me.
So Manitoba Film and Sound, kind of give us an idea what that's about.
Manitoba Film and Music, we're a
film and music.
Yeah, we used to be called sound, but people thought sound still meant film, but it actually is music. We fund independent film and music. So the agency, we're a Crown Corp, statutory corporation of government, and our mandate really is to develop the film and music industries here in Manitoba.
And how long have you been doing this?
Oh, a long time, since I was 12.
Since you were 12.
Yeah. No, I've been the CEO since 1990.
1990.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's a long time.
So the idea is to encourage whether it's music or films to come to our province, or?
Well, we support independent local Manitoba music. So artists that live here in the province, they can apply for the demo, for the CD, for touring, marketing. So we really do support the music industry, and all the submissions are adjudicated by peers here in the province. And then on the film side, we also invest in the development of scripts with local production companies. We also invest in co-productions with them and other companies from elsewhere. One big one this year was the Spanish co-production Aloft, which we did a big red carpet screening just recently here in the city with. And we also attract offshore production to come here and just shoot and, hire all the crew and use our infrastructure and just shoot the film here. And a good example of that is a film that's in the theaters right now, Heaven is for Real.
All right.
A Sony movie. That entire film was shot here in Manitoba with primarily all Manitoba crew.
And there was a time when there seemed like a lot of movies being done here, and it kind of goes up and down a bit. Is that true, or is it?
Yeah, it's it has ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's the word I was looking for.
It
yeah.
definitely has ebbs and flows. We were very busy all last year. The spring we've had a couple of films shooting right now, and there's looking to be very busy, a bit more into the summer and through fall.
Because I remember a couple of years ago, Home Alone. I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, Home Alone 5.
Home Alone 5
Yes.
was filming all over the city, but it was had a bed and breakfast right across from our apartment, across the river.
Yeah.
They were doing that. I remember one day hearing screaming kids, and you think, oh, something's gone wrong. And that was either 2 or 3 summers ago. And we had it was like February. It wasn't summer. It was in the winter. But there was no snow. So they had to put fake snow out, which is how unusual is that?
It's unusual, yes. This year we had a one Christmas Eve shot here for Hallmark. And it's the first time we had Hallmark actually in Winnipeg shooting a movie. And we were very fortunate that we had a longer winter this year than normal. There are some advantages to it.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of the snow that they needed. I don't know if you saw the house in River Heights, but it looked fantastic. It was all lit up beautifully, and that's going to be a really fun film to come out. And often the Christmas movies get shot in the summer just because of when they get ordered. It's really seems counterintuitive, but this one actually was here for the winter, and our winter was longer, and they had all the great snow, and so they're very happy with that shoot.
So lots of films coming here, and we know some of them. Shall We Dance is one that was been here not too long ago.
Absolutely.
Well, several years ago now,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
What other movies would we know?
Capote.
Oh, sure.
Capote was a really big one for us. That was Philip Seymour Hoffman won the Academy Award for that film. He was an amazing actor. It's very sad he's no longer with us. But that film was a really big one for us. But there's been a lot. One of our local writer-directors, Sean Garrity, his film My Awkward Sexual Adventure was another film that was out in the theaters just over a year or two ago, and it's done extremely well in the box office and in the market. We invested in that film, and we already are recouping money back on it. But, there's some television series. You look at Less Than Kind, a fantastic television series that ran for 4 seasons. It's based on the true story of Marvin Kay, his family's driving school that was in Garden City here in Winnipeg. And I remember Kay's driving school. And so Marvin developed that series based on his family's experiences. And Mark McKinney from Kids in the Hall was the showrunner on that, and they shot that all here for 4 seasons, and it won all the awards in Canada, Best Comedy Series, for writing, for directing, so acting. So it was a fantastic series that came out of here. It's available now on iTunes as well.
And we think when you say film, but that really includes TV series as well.
Includes everything: film, television, digital projects now, which we're starting to see much more of. And music, so it's really very interesting. We really see the gamut.
And we're going to come back in the next segment and talk about you a little bit, about your background, about, say, maybe you've won an award recently, like the Order of Manitoba. And we want to talk, that was a very special night, and we want to talk a little bit about that. But we're going to come back with Carole Vivier, CEO of Manitoba Film and Sound.
Music.
Manitoba Film and Music. See, that's what my notes said, too.
I often mix it up still myself.
And we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Follow us at Peak of the Market on Twitter for Food and Friends, guest updates, and recipes. We have over 100,000 Twitter followers, and we'd love to have you follow us too. Again, we're at Peak of the Market, or my Twitter is at Larry McIntosh. We're back with Carole Vivier, CEO of Manitoba Film and Music and Provincial Film Commissioner. Film and Music, or did I get it right?
Oh, you got it right.
I got that one was right.
You're right.
I called it N Sound, which is your old name. So before we get into you, what does the Provincial Film Commissioner do?
What I do is like, for instance, Sony, the Heaven is for Real movie. When they're looking for where they want to place that film, they're looking often at many jurisdictions, not just one.
Sure.
And so we'll be contacted. I'll get a call from a Sony executive or an email saying we have this project. We're really looking at Manitoba. They will send us the script, and I have staff that will then read that script and break it down for its key locations. We have a really in-depth digital library of the whole province, and so they need to figure out, and they're very creative and they're really good at what they do, those locations that will wow them. So you really want to capture their attention on your first go when you're sending out images to them, that they then feel compelled that this will be a great location for them. So once we start doing that, and sometimes they'll look at those images, we do it all online. We create their own website for them. They have their own password to get into it, and our staff can actually work with them in real time. They can be looking at those images and going, okay, I like those. Those ones aren't working. Can you show me more of those? Oh. And so they can actually be, putting up new images for them, working with them at the same time. And once they feel, pretty confident the location will work, sometimes the director's already involved, sometimes not. But then, if the director has them in, they'll bring the director into it as well, because the director has obviously a huge say on the locations and where they want to be shooting that film for them creatively. And then the director will get involved as well. And then when they're really serious, they will actually fly here. Sometimes they'll bring in the writer, the director, not the writer as much, but the director, the producer, sometimes a production designer, a DP, if they've already got them attached. And when they come, we actually host them. The Fairmont Hotel has been a great sponsor of ours, so we'll put them up at the Fairmont while they're in town. We work with the unions. They'll often provide us the driver. We work, with Enterprise to get the vehicle.
Okay.
So that, the community really supports us in this. And so when they come, we have a very detailed itinerary ready for them, and it'll be to show them locations they've been looking at that they responded positively to, but also leaving room for them to have time if they want to see other things. And then during that process as well, they'll often meet with production companies here to see which company they want to be working with. They'll meet with a lot of the key crew people because they'll hire, their keys, and then the keys hire down here in the province. So it's really an interesting process. And, they often come for 2, 3, sometimes 4 days. And it's quite intense while they're here. And I have to, Wow Hospitality is our sponsor on the meal side, and so they're very generous in providing that service to us as well. So we really are appreciative of all the support we get here in the city and the province.
So if you have a film that's looking at coming to the province, how many jurisdictions or states, provinces would you be competing with? Is it a ton, or is it they narrow it down before they ever call? Or
Well, when they come in here, sometimes we're competing with 2 or 3 other ones.
Okay.
So it's a very competitive world. I think almost every jurisdiction in the world has a film commissioner or a film office or some form of film incentive. It's an industry that the world is really going after because it's environmentally friendly. It's creative content. It's very high skilled jobs. So the labor market is very well educated, high skilled, well trained. They're paid well, so they contribute really significantly to the economy of the province. And it's just the creative content and so it's you can't buy that kind of marketing. I remember when Brad Pitt was here and they did a piece of the Jesse James movie. There was a picture of him in one of the, the magazines we see on the grocery counter,
right?
Of him walking out of 529. And you can't buy that kind of publicity. Even on Capote, we were very involved with Capote, and our logo is on every Sony poster for that film. So, there's the publicity that comes with it is phenomenal. And, they go back and then they talk about their experience here and they recommend other people to us. So, but it is an extremely competitive environment.
So when someone's looking for where to locate a film or where to film a film, I guess that's the proper words.
Yeah.
We're quite often known for looking like Chicago in Exchange District,
Right.
I believe. Do they look at that type of thing, whether the environment or whatever the film or TV series may be in? Or?
Oh, absolutely. We've doubled a lot of cities. We've doubled San Francisco.
Really?
Which, John Dahl's You Kill Me, which we thought, well, it's really going to be challenged to double.
We don't have hills.
No, but what they do is they then they green screened in the bridge, and they actually went to San Francisco and shot for 2 or 3 days for establishing shots to fill in. But the rest they did here. But we've doubled Chicago. We've doubled parts of New York. We've doubled Denver. We've doubled Detroit. Areas of Boston. So we've really done the gamut of what we can double here. The city is extremely diverse. And then the province outside the city as well. We have beautiful farmlands and, the fields. And if you go to the Whiteshell area or up on Lake Winnipeg. So, we have a lot to offer here. I mean, the one challenge we face is not having a direct flight to Los Angeles. If we had a direct flight to Los Angeles, it would really be a game changer for us.
We'll have to work on that.
Yes, please help me.
We'll be right back with Carole Vivier, CEO of Manitoba Film and Music, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. It's time for our recipe segment called Now We're Cooking. Now, you don't need to write this recipe down. It's just today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in today's Winnipeg Sun. Today's recipe is coconut beef. Coconut beef. Now, this isn't good for me because I'm allergic to coconut, but here's what you need for the recipe. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 1 onion thinly sliced, 2 cups of beef thinly sliced, 1.5 cups of potatoes cubed. For best results, use Manitoba grown, 2 tablespoons of curry powder, and 1 1/4 cups of coconut milk. In a heavy skillet, heat the oil, and then add the beef and cook for about 2 minutes. Then add the onions and cook for a further 2 minutes. Then you would add the potatoes, curry, and coconut milk and bring to a boil. Reduce the heat, cover, and let simmer for about 15 minutes or until the potatoes are tender. Serve hot with rice or noodles, and this recipe serves 4. Again, this is today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Sun. And all the recipes on our website or in the newspaper have both metric and imperial measurements, so you can get all the information you need there. And by the way, peakmarket.com, if you go to our website, has over 4,000 recipes on it. So every recipe has a vegetable in it for obvious reasons, but we have chicken recipes there, beef recipes, all sorts of recipes. So you can go to peakmarket.com, do a search by what's in your fridge or anything else. We'll be right back with Carole Vivier, CEO of Manitoba Film and Music and the Provincial Film Commissioner, after we take this break for your 680 CJOB News, Sports and Weather. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Food and Friends Radio is now on TV. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted on MyToba.ca later this weekend. So if you want to watch the TV version of this show or previous radio shows, please visit MyToba.ca. That's MyToba.ca. Thanks to Chad, who's operating the camera, and the teachers of the Broadcasting and Media Arts program at Tech-Voc High School for their involvement. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at SoundCloud.com and at the iTunes Store. So just do a search for at MyToba.ca, SoundCloud.com, or iTunes for Food and Friends with Larry, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. Of course, Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers. So please tune in live to 680 CJOB, or of course listen live at cjob.com. We're back with Carole Vivier, CEO of Manitoba Film and Music and the Provincial Film Commissioner. So we were talking in the last half hour, we're going to talk about you, and then we didn't get to that. So
that's okay.
It was last week. Was it last week that the Prince and...
It was last week.
Yeah, it seemed longer than that ago.
I know.
The Prince Charles was here, and the Duchess of
Cornwall.
Yes. I keep wanting to say York, and that's not it.
I know. I agree.
They were in attendance here for a couple of days, and that was amazing, and that put us on the world stage, on the news, and everything else. But the most important thing is the Order of Manitoba. Tell us a little bit about what happened to you there.
Well, I'm very honored that I was nominated for the Order of Manitoba, and I was selected as one of the 14 people to receive it this year. So I was very humbled and honored by it, I have to say.
Now, I know you're going to be a little humble about this, but the Order of Manitoba is Manitoba's highest recognition. It's the highest award, or whatever you want to call it, that the province gives out. And out of hundreds of thousands of people in this province, to get it down to 14 people and receive that is an incredible accomplishment for you. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very proud of it. And it was really nice for me the evening. It was special because it was first time held in the Legislative Building in the Chambers. Having the Prince and the Duchess of Cornwall there to present it along with Lieutenant Governor was really a very special night. And being with the other nominees, the other 13 people are, extraordinary in their areas as well. And I love the diversity of the people and, the areas that they're being nominated for and recognized for. And for me, it was really nice to have my family there. We have grandchildren, and our two older granddaughters who are 16 and 18. Or almost 16 and 18 were able to come. And, I think as a woman, it's really great for young women to have role models for them, of other women in their lives. So for me, that was really a special time for them, and they were very proud. And I know I'm not on Facebook because I just don't want to do Facebook, but I know they have pictures up on Facebook from it and are quite proud of their OMA. So it was really very nice. I was very honored.
Well, on Manitoba Day, which is May 12th, they announced who the 14 people were. And,
yes.
And we saw you in there and went, yep, that makes a lot of sense. You've done a lot for our province. And, of course, there's a couple of the people we know in there. Bob Irving from
Absolutely.
CJOB, of course, good friend of ours.
Yeah, I know his son very well, Kyle.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Bob Brennan, formerly of Manitoba Hydro. We know him well. And we know a few of the other people. So it's quite the exclusive group that you're in. And we were proud for you.
Thank
and I
you.
said to you earlier this morning, Shelley and I were up in the gallery. We were fortunate enough to be up there to watch.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how exciting it was for you down there.
It was very exciting. Yeah, Jennifer Jonas, our one of the Olympic curler, was there as well, and her and I were chatting, and we both said, this is so surreal. Like pinch us. Are we is this really happening? She's lovely as well, and obviously very deserved. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really cool, I have to say.
So, what did the Prince say to you when you got up there?
Congratulations. They were very charming, it was congratulations, well deserved. And, he handed the plaque, the Lieutenant Governor hung the medal, and then Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, handed you the pin. And then afterwards, we went into the Lieutenant Governor's offices, and we did a big group picture. And there was a bit of mingling after that. And they were actually just very lovely people just to chat. I get it's their job, but they're very good at it, and they're very gracious. It was really very nice.
It's their job, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily enjoying it. And they seem to be sincere. I know he was a little under the weather, but the speech he did about the province during the ceremony.
Absolutely.
And when we saw him, we went out to the ledge afterwards, and he walked past us there. And he generally stopped and talked to people. And
no, they're very warm and very sincere. Like I said, it's their job, but they don't come across like it's, this is, our job. They really do seem genuinely interested in what they're doing and spoke very nicely about the province. I thought it was really, really lovely for us to have them here.
And I said to you when I saw you in the lobby this morning, you didn't have your Order of Manitoba pin
No.
on. Are you not comfortable with doing that yet?
I'm a real behind the scenes person.
How could you be in film and be behind the scenes?
Because I like the behind the scenes part of it. I'll never be the actress, that's for sure. I'm not used to, putting it on. So I think I will wear it at sort of, on some more formal occasions, but I don't think I'd be wearing it every day.
You know what? It's something it's an incredible honor, well deserved, and I know you're uncomfortable talking about it, but I wanted to make sure people know about it because
thank
it's
you.
an incredible thing. So you said you've been in this business for a while.
Yeah.
How many years again would you say?
Well, I've been the CEO since 1991, so it's a long time. And I've seen incredible changes over that period. It's remarkable.
What were you doing before that, before you became the CEO?
I started working in the agency and I started working in their programs. And I started there in about 86, I guess. And then I'm quick study, and by 1990, they asked me to step in as the CEO. So it was a really interesting time because the industry was brand new in the province. They, under the government set up, it was the first economic regional development agreement for the cultural industries ever done between initiated between the province and the federal government in Canada. And so that's where the film, music, and actually publishing was created as a sector here. So it was really an interesting time. It was brand new for everybody. Everybody was learning and growing, and so it was a really amazing time to be part of it. And then to see the growth from there, then till now. I think when the agency was first created under the agreement, I think total production in the province was maybe $500,000 or something. And then by the time 97, when the tax credit was introduced, we were doing about 17 million, which I thought then was fantastic. And now we do over 100 million.
Over 100 million
a year in film production in the province. In a 10-year period, there's been over $1 billion of film production in Manitoba, which is phenomenal. And that's all local crew, a lot of local actors working on every project. I mean, it's the suppliers here, the infrastructure. It's really a fantastic industry for the economy in Manitoba.
We'll be right back with Carole Vivier, CEO of Manitoba Film and Music, right after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. As I mentioned in the last half hour, I'm very excited about Peak of the Market's TV commercial auditions that are happening today from 9:30 to 6 at Center Court of Polo Park Shopping Center. The auditions are open to children 6 to 12, and every child will receive a copy. Well, we'll do the audition with me, but they'll receive a copy of their screen test. I hope to see you at Polo Park Shopping Center today. We're back with Carole Vivier, CEO of Manitoba Film and Music and the Provincial Film Commissioner. So we're just talking during the commercial break there about Aboriginal programs.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about film, but the music side's really grown and developed. I mean, it's phenomenal, the size of that sector here in the province. And one of the things that I just got an email about today is that it's the 10th anniversary of the Aboriginal Music Program, which I was just stunned by. I mean, I cannot believe 10 years has gone by that fast. Alan Grey Eyes over at Manitoba Music administers that program and has done a fantastic job with it. And it really is there to do outreach within the Aboriginal community here in Manitoba, the music industry, artists, managers, to help them kind of find their way through the bigger music industry, which can be quite daunting for anybody at any time. And, Alan's done a really wonderful job there, and there's been a lot of fantastic music developed through the Aboriginal community. I mean, it's a community of storytellers. And on the film side is Eagle Vision, which is a wonderful Aboriginal production company. Kyle Irving is one of the partners there with Lisa Meaches.
Okay.
And they've done some amazing programming. And one of the ones that we're very proud of to have been a part of is the docudrama they did on We Were Children about the residential schools and people's experiences with it. It is an incredible project and film. And anybody that hasn't seen it, I encourage you to watch it. It's really amazing. It's really heartwarming, sad, but also very hopeful, and a story that was very important to tell. And I really congratulate them for doing an incredible job with it.
And we've talked over the show a bit about films and a bit about TV series that have been done here. How big is the music industry here? Is it fairly large, or is it growing? Or
Oh, the music industry is very large here. It's worth, millions of dollars a year in the economy of Manitoba. We have a lot of artists that are always on the road touring. And I think the interesting about Manitoba too and Winnipeg is that, there's some cities that have a typical, a type of music scene, like a genre of music. But we have everything here. We have jazz and classical and hip hop and rock and pop and country and folk, and it's really remarkable the depth of the industry here. And, I think one of the things that we've really been seeing over the last few years is the growth of the management, which is a really important piece, and some of the labels. So we've had some, younger people coming into the industry and taking on management of artists that are here, which is really important. And, so the music's really made its mark on the world scene. We have an enormous amount of really talented artists here. It's really, really remarkable.
Years ago, I don't know how long ago, we went on a trade mission to L.A., and there was some music. And what was the famous nightclub in L.A.
The Whiskey A Go Go.
Thank you. I was trying to think of that for like a week. I'm trying to think of that name.
Yes,
Yeah, we were there, and we
Canada
had
Day.
that's right.
Yes.
And we had you brought down some local entertainment, and I was quite amazed.
Yeah, Doc Walker was one of the bands
Right.
there that night. I remember actually being up on Sunset and looking up at the marquee of the Whiskey A Go Go and seeing, Manitoba Showcase and the Manitoba artists being listed on that showcase that were performing that night. That was really a lot of fun.
And that venue has a lot of, it's famous.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of, those walls could talk.
So speaking of talking, so have you met some famous people over the years?
I have met famous people over the years. I meet a lot of really interesting directors. Bennett Miller, who is the director of Capote. Bennett went on to direct Moneyball, which he was nominated for Academy Award for.
Really, yeah.
And Capote was his first feature film. And he just had a film in competition in Cannes, and the name's going to escape me. It's about the wrestling story with Steve Carell in it, and he's incredibly talented. I did meet Philip Seymour Hoffman when they were shooting here. He was really a lovely person, incredibly talented actor. Richard Gere.
You met Richard Gere?
I met Richard Gere
Wow.
when he was here. He was actually very nice. It's just these brief little hellos.
Sure,
But Randall Wallace, the director of Heaven is for Real, I met Randall when they were here. He gave us a great quote after shooting, and he wrote Braveheart, directed Secretariat, and now directed Heaven is for Real. And, when they came, he said, Carole, Manitoba is going to look like nobody's ever made it look before. And everybody that's gone to see the film has said the vistas and the fields, how he shot them, that the province just looks spectacular. So there's a lot of really cool people that come in, and they're all lovely. Claudia Losa was the director that was here from Spain. She's been nominated for Academy Award for her first film. She's a Peruvian director living in Spain. So it's a very interesting world, for sure.
And when you go see these movies that have been filmed here, or do you have that sense of pride?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, and particularly if it's a local filmmaker that we've been, investing in the development of their script, and then they're going into production, and they get it made, and then you go to the big screening of the film. I feel like the mom, like your stomach's in knots, and I'm really excited for them and want it to be really successful, and so it is. It's really it's really rewarding, to see young people or not so young, whatever part of their career, be able to realize their creative vision and to get it out there on the screen and for the world to see. I remember Leonard Asper telling me once that he was in, I don't even know, Bogota or somewhere, I can't remember, but somewhere very remote in the world, very far from here. And Falcon Beach, the series, had been shot here.
Right.
And it was airing on Globals, and their affiliates all around the world. And he was in a restaurant or a bar somewhere in the world, and the TV was on, and there was Falcon Beach playing. And he said, it was just remarkable. Like, here he's from Winnipeg, and that was all shot here out on the lake, and to actually see it. So, music and film, it travels the world. I mean, I think it tells the world who we are. It's how you, tell your stories about your culture and who you are as human beings and who you are as people. Songwriting, I don't think anybody's surprised by how they're touched by a song. So it's a pretty remarkable.
We'll be right back with Carole Vivier after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. My guest today has been Carole Vivier, CEO of Manitoba Film and Music and the Provincial Film Commissioner. Thank you, Carole, for being on Food and Friends.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate being here. And I have to say, I do actually go to your website and copy a lot of the recipes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I love recipes. So I've actually heard a few when I've heard on air, and I've gone and copied them, printed them out.
And everyone has a vegetable in it.
Absolutely.
Of some sort. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Please join me next Saturday when my guest will be Phil Chiappetta, co-executive director of Ross Brook House. Sorry about that, Phil. Phil will tell us about Ross Brook House and the wonderful things they do for the children and youth and young adults in the inner city. Thanks to Nicole Bonnikamp, our producer. Take care, and please don't forget to eat your veggies.